according to Mark, the 7th chapter. Now when the Pharisees and some of the scribes had come from Jerusalem gathered around him, they noticed that some of his disciples were eating with defiled hands, that is, without washing them. For the Pharisees and all the Jews do not eat unless they thoroughly wash their hand, thus observing the tradition of the elders. And they do not eat anything from the market unless they wash it. And there are also many other traditions that they observe, the washing of cups, pots, and bronze kettles. So the Pharisees and the scribes asked him, "Why do your disciples not live according to the tradition of the elders, but eat with defiled hands?" Jesus said to them, "Isaiah prophesied rightly about you hypocrites, as it is written, 'This people honors me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching human precepts as doctrines. You abandon the commandment of God and hold to human tradition.'" Then he called the crowd and said to them, "Listen to me, all of you, and understand. There is nothing outside a person that by going in can defile. But the things that come out are what defile. For it is from within, from the human heart, that evil intentions come: theft, murder, adultery, avarice, wickedness, deceit, licentiousness, envy, slander, pride, folly. All these evil things come from within, and they defile a person." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Christ.
You may be seated. Praise to you and peace from God our Father and our Lord and Savior Jesus the Christ. Reading today's Gospel lesson, I am reminded of an observation that the comedian Gallagher once made. They say cleanliness is next to godliness, but I looked it up in the dictionary. Cleanliness is not next to godliness. Goggles is next to godliness. Cleanliness is between claustrophobia and cleavage. Yet the Pharisees in our gospel lesson this morning do seem to equate cleanliness with godliness, with following God's instructions regarding purity. You see, back in the Old Testament, there were a number of rules about purifying oneself through washing. However, many of these rules were originally intended for the priests in preparing to make an offering to God. The original law was not required of everyone, and not even of the priests in every situation. But over the years and decades and centuries since those laws were handed down, there were those who wanted to be sure they were as pure as they could be, and they would follow all these washing and purification customs at all times, and thought that they should apply to everyone else as well at all times. And so we have the Pharisees and scribes criticizing the disciples for not properly washing their hands before eating. Before we simply categorize this incident, though, as yet another difference between the Pharisees and Jews, or between Jews and Christians, we should be aware that many of us today, both within the church and out in our community, and across the nation and even throughout the world, many continue to follow traditions and beliefs as though they were sacred, and expect others to do the same, criticizing them if they don't agree with them, don't follow the same beliefs. Democrats criticize Republicans, and Republicans criticize Democrats. Those whose families immigrated to this country years or generations or even centuries ago criticize those who want the opportunity to be part of our country today. People of color criticize those who are white. Bloggers and miners criticize environmentalists. Environmentalists criticize Monsanto and other companies that use GMOs. Followers of mainstream religions criticize the fundamentalists. Conservative denominations are critical of a society sliding down a slippery slope toward anarchy and hedonism. The wealthy criticize those on public assistance, and the 99%ers criticize the 1%ers. It's no wonder that Jesus' response to the Pharisees and what he tells those who follow him is that it isn't what we put in our mouths that defiles us, that makes us unclean. It's what comes out of our mouths what comes from our hearts that makes us unclean. It's what we say and do that shows our uncleanliness, demonstrates for the world to see what our own sinfulness really is, even when we don't see it ourselves. Earlier in the Gospels, during the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus told the crowds, "Do not judge, so that you may not be judged. For with the judgment you make, you will be judged. And the measure you give will be the measure you get. Why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye?" And yet we continue to judge others for not being like us. We judge people by the groups they do or do not belong to, by what we think they do or don't do. We fail to see that the only group membership that matters is being a member of the human race. We are all created by God. We are all bound together in that commonality, and yet we often fail to acknowledge it. Instead of seeing all the ways in which we are alike, we draw lines and separate ourselves based on the few things that differentiate us. Yes, we are all unique, but underneath we are also all human. And our uniqueness, our differences, are things we should celebrate, not criticize. Of course, criticizing and blaming others has been going on for a very long time. Back in Genesis, Adam blamed the woman God had made for him for giving him the forbidden fruit, and Eve blamed the serpent. The blame game is another thing that we share with our fellow human beings. So should we just give in to our human nature, our blaming nature, our sinful nature? Of course not. But like other ways in which we are sinful, we cannot remove this sin by ourselves. We cannot stop blaming and criticizing others on our own. We need someone to help us. We are in need of a Savior. And so God sent his Son, Jesus, to be that Savior. And through Jesus, God provided baptism as a sacrament that embodies the acceptance that God offers all of us. And as we celebrate the baptism of Faith Marie in a short time, remember that the use of water in this sacrament is not about being bodily clean, but about spiritual cleansing and about new birth. If we were as pure and as blameless as we sometimes pretend to be, or wish we were, we would not have need of God's gift, of Jesus' sacrifice. But we are in need. We are sinful. We indeed say and do things that hurt others and separate us from one another. But we've not been left on our own with our hurt we cause or the hurt we feel. We have Jesus to help us to be more kind and more caring. We have this community of believers to support us. And we have God's grace and forgiveness when we don't care for others as we ought. Amen. I invite you to stand as you